Well, I was trying to explore Ahn'Qiraj, and I was looking for ways to escape the main area of the dungeon, and I did discover that you can get in between some of the rocks here where your character pops out above the ceiling. That allows me to jump and then see the underside of the Ahn'Qiraj dungeon. Unfortunately, I also get stuck here. Alright, thanks for joining me in Uncrafting Ahn'Qiraj. See you guys in the next one. Just kidding, of course. Okay, let's really uncraft Ahn'Qiraj. Ahn'Qiraj, for those who may not know, is a massive 40-man raid that Blizzard implemented back in vanilla and required many steps in order to enter it. It first had to be unlocked on the server via the Scepter of the Shifting Sands questline, and even to this day it's considered the longest questline in all of World of Warcraft. And, sadly, you will never complete it, unless you are playing Classic, as the questline is removed in Retail. So if you haven't already completed the quest in Retail, then you can never complete it. Furthermore, the Scarab Lord title for completing the quest was awarded to one player per server. One. Only one. And the Black Quiraji mount, which was also a reward for completing the quest, was only awarded to those that completed the quest within 10 hours of the first person on that server to complete the quest. So the raid is quite unique in those manners, and it is also designed very strangely, as if you're traveling inside of a bug tunneling system. It's very weird, very creepy, and if you don't like bugs, you will hate this place. Enough about the raid itself though, let's get into uncrafting the place. The very first thing I explore is the stomach of Cthulhu, because I wasn't sure if I could glitch out of bounds while I was in there, and I wanted to be thorough in my exploration. There sadly was very little interesting to be seen. The next thing that you'll see me try is jumping up and using Vengeful Retreat here to get to the window ledge. This isn't exactly random though, I didn't just think of this on my own. I actually first saw Hidden Azeroth's channel where he performed this glitch a few years back. Now I also performed this glitch over a year ago, actually back in November of 2021. I can't believe how crazy that it's been over a year since then. And I saw him jump out of a window, so I wanted to follow suit. However, I forgot which window that he jumped out of, and I didn't want to go back to the video. So instead, I wanted to see if I could get onto this ledge here and then glide over to the ledge from here, or to the window from here. It surprisingly worked, after I had failed the first time, of course. So first I jumped to this ledge with the pillar, and the pillar has absolutely no clip detection, which is kinda strange, I guess. So after I was entertained by that, I jumped over to the window, and it thankfully had 0 invisible walls. That's always a good sign. I was surprised by this, even though I thought that this may be the case. I took a look back just to make sure I wasn't crazy, and then I peered over the ledge to see what an amazing exploration was lying before me. I noticed a pretty steep cliff, so I fell rush across it to the flatter part on the other side so that I don't lose my footing. I then got to a high point, and then I'm just going to play the in-game audio so you can experience what I did. Now I've explored a lot of places since recording this, but watching this back over is giving me so many chills I can hardly stand it. We are outside one of the creepiest and most interesting raids in WoW's 18-year history. This is incredible. I took a good look at the map to see if I was still on the map, and surprisingly I was, but clearly on the other side of the wall, which I should not be. After that I continue on the exploration, and I even travel to a higher point and look into the Great Valley below. There's some strange texture, and the land just kind of ends, you know, with that white weird texture. To be honest, I'm a little surprised at how small this map is on the outside area. However, of course it goes much deeper than many other raids dungeons. It's still kind of weird. Now, as typical, I explore the upper reaches of the area first, and then the rest of the land. Sadly, I hit my first invisible wall, but that's okay since at this time I still had Door of Shadows. But I know now that I really need to watch my step, especially with these longer drops all over the place. One interesting thing here is that the area is completely unique. Unlike in modern dungeons, the areas had to be stitched together, so there is literally no place in World of Warcraft that looks like this. though some of the scenery definitely has similarities to the Zone version, as well as many aspects that were kept in for the consistency and just the atmosphere itself. Take a look at this incredible view. The music literally cannot fit this place any more perfectly than it does. In the distance, there's definitely something wrong, but we will head there while also looking at the ruins. This right here is amazing. Be sure to watch your step, of course, because I am not liable for any injuries that the UnCrafters may experience during their explorations. This is the view from a hole in the ground as you're running through the dungeon. Like, if you look up, you can see this. How amazing is it that the whole instance is surrounded by an entire wasteland, one that's even worse than the desert that is supposed to be surrounding the place. I mean, you're literally in a desert, but it's much worse when you go out into the out-of-bounds area. Even farther in the distance, there's a random, weirdly textured pillar, and I decided to go check it out, as any good explorer should. It's actually much further than it looks, and random pieces of dungeon kept popping up, which is quite strange. I mean, that's not really supposed to happen. So when I arrived at the tower looking thing, I went all the way around it, hoping and expecting to see something crazy. But no, it's just a random massive tower. So I'm sure it's used to texture the inside of the dungeon, but I don't know. I head back towards the ruins and I take a final look back at the amazing area I had just explored. I spent a good amount of time trying to get on top of the wall here, and I finally do. I was hoping to find the entrance area when sadly I fell. Thankfully though, I did manage to find a way back up after quite a bit of struggling, and when I tried to get back onto the wall, I failed again. I then gave up on this part of the wall and I just moved on. Finally, I made it up the wall, and now we can explore the outside of the entrance of the raid. It's pretty interesting, though it's quite small. It's a quite small area. But I did find this sand here that's falling, which I assume is also already in the overworld. Just, you know, it looks really strange here because you shouldn't be able to see this inside the instance. After that, I decided to jump back out into the wastelands. I found an area with some height, and I jumped back onto the wall, and then I met with a pesky, invisible barrier. Goodness, those invisible barriers are so... they're annoying. I moved to a different area of the wall, and I tried to get past it, but ultimately, I just decided to move on. I now tried to explore the inner area of the dungeon, and I found a neat tower here. But the invisible wall came back, and it taunted me once again, and this time I sadly ran out of time, and I had to end my first exploration of Ahn'Qiraj. I did a bit of research though when recording this audio, and I don't truly think there's too much else to see in this out-of-bounds area. It's possible I missed something, and if I did, please let me know. So that's actually going to be it for this exploration. Thank you all for your support, and if you want to be an Uncrafter, you can do so by glitching your cursor over the subscribe button and click subscribe. I do warn you though, we view some pretty strange area in World of Warcraft, so if you're not interested, don't click it. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and we will see each other again very soon. Thank you all for watching.